All right, welcome back to the Man Event. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today we are prepared to talk about all kinds of things. MLB, COVID, of course, it's on everyone's mind. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. Can't escape it. With us, as always, I'm your host, Pooh Bear. We have B-Love, Matty Ho, and the Chief. Stand by. We're going to... All right. Happy Father's Day, fellas.
Hey,
happy Father's Day.
One and all. Studs and all.
Studs. Right. Studs, all of us.
I'm a proud papa. Yep.
Just once, though.
Yep, just once. Not for lack of effort. Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 children between us.
Wow.
That we know of, right?
Wow. Yeah, 8. Yep.
That we know of. No.
That I'm paying for, yeah.
That count on just the one, yeah. And let's see here. Who's got any moving out soon or leaving the nest? So Cliff, you've got one in college, right?
Yeah, sort of. She was at USF and now she's back doing some stuff virtually right now. And she's supposed to go back in the fall, but who knows? I mean, I hear that FSU has already announced they're not going to have classes in the fall, and USF said they are, but who knows? It may change. It's all up in the air. Anyway, she's got a room here.
Yeah, it still works. That's good.
Yeah, it's cheaper here than it is there. I'll promise you that.
I was going to say, if you don't have to, if they're not going to do anything on campus, so campus is basically shut down. Look at all the power bills they're saving and the food they're saving, all that. Are you going to get a reduction in your fees or whatever?
They haven't. Actually, they did just say today. We got an email that said if your student is 15 hours or more, which she is 15 credits, that she would get a one-time $750 scholarship. I guess that's why they awarded it. So we did get a little something there.
All right, well, that helps.
Hey, speaking of getting a discount, I'm assuming everybody got the discount for the car insurance.
Yep.
I think we get a couple dollars.
When are we getting another one of those?
I get one every month.
Yeah, Allstate's been sending them to me regularly every month.
I got Allstate too. Like, how much are they set? How much are you getting a rebate for?
It's right around $98 every month. They're sending me back.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, but I send them a check for like $6,000 though. So
yeah, I'm getting like 70 back every month or whatever, and I got Allstate too. So
wow, I just got a one time so far. I want to say it was around $200 and something.
No,
so maybe mine's doing it by the quarter.
I'll have to check. I have no idea what ours is coming back. My wife handles all that.
Do any of you guys use one of those like drive time apps or anything that tracks your driving?
No, I don't. But I did have my driving tracked recently by the Florida Highway Patrol.
Oh,
nice.
Oh yes,
really?
Yes. Apparently, I was driving fast.
Did you receive a citation?
I was issued a citation.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So give us the details. How fast and how fast?
I was doing 92 on I-4.
Well, everybody
does 92. I'm on I-4 headed towards Orlando, and traffic is kind of backed up where I was at. I think it was 4 lanes, maybe it was 3. And I can't get by anybody, but I see a break in traffic if I can get into the right-hand lane. So I get all the way over to the slow lane. I hit it. And as I get around all the cars, there sits Mr. Trooper. He got me on the acceleration. So as I passed them all, I got back into the center lane. In fact, I clicked my cruise control to go back to the 80 I had it preset at, but it was too late.
Busted.
Well, I think we all know why you're not getting your rebate checks now.
I won't be getting any more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Speedy.
Dang it, man.
Yeah, 92 and a 70. It was expensive.
Yeah, I bet. And then you get the points, and now your insurance is going to go up. You're not going to afford your kids' colleges. You just cost them their whole future. Nice job.
I just ruined my kid's life. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Anybody ever done, like the ticket clinic or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it
a long time ago.
This segment of the Man Event is brought to you by the Ticket Clinic.
Yeah.
So should I do it or not?
Well, if you do it, then the points don't go against you or something. So you want to do it for sure.
Yeah, you definitely want to do it. You do it online now. I did like the comedy show online, and I got to tell you, it wasn't very funny, but I think somebody was laughing all the way to the bank. I had to.
Wait, now are you talking about getting the points removed off your license, or are you talking about dismissing the ticket, like with a lawyer, ticket dismissers kind of thing?
Yeah, like one of those ticket clinic things. You pay them like $100 and somehow they get it adjudicated or something.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's different.
So there is traffic school or driving school where you can go after you've, you sign your ticket, you pay the ticket, but you get a reduced rate and you don't get the points on your license if you go to this educational class.
Yeah,
that's what they're talking about. This is a lawyer, like a kind of a shady ambulance chaser kind of fella who is going to get your ticket dismissed because the trooper didn't have the proper uniform on that day or didn't follow some minutia type of procedure or something,
Except for the fact he just admitted he did it here.
This
now it's out there.
Right.
This gentleman seemed pretty legit. I mean, he even had like the aviator glasses on that had like, when I looked at him, I could see myself.
Nice.
He was like straight up Chips.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. There's
Ponch or John.
He was John.
There's
okay,
procedures.
He was John. All right.
If he didn't radio it in the right way at the right time, it may not be an official investigation. Therefore, it could be dismissed by a lawyer. There used to be a rumor. I don't know if it's a myth or not, but if our county, the deputies in our county, they normally wear like a cowboy hat style hat. They used to. They don't do it anymore. But if he didn't have that hat on, or the deputy didn't have the hat on when he got out of the car, that could be he wasn't in full uniform. Therefore, the ticket could be dismissed.
Wow.
So Lisa hired an attorney several years ago, and got the ticket was dismissed, but she had to do a 2-day driving school. That was her penalty. Yeah. 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. She's like, I'd much rather just pay the ticket.
I'll just pay the man.
Yeah.
Can you do that at like the Richard Petty driving school or whatever over in?
That would be awesome.
I would do that to get out of a ticket.
That would
closed.
be awesome.
That closed down.
It's closed. That closed. That was at the Magic Kingdom. That was at Disney. It closed down.
No, I think it was business because the track has been torn up.
Yeah, it's no longer there.
So B-Love, what was your excuse when he comes up to you and says driver's license and registration, or do you know why I pulled you over? You're just like, yeah, I know, or you didn't say, look, my appendix is going to burst or something like that.
So it was something along these lines.
There's bees. There's bees.
I put the window down. He comes to the passenger side, put the window down. He goes, hey, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? I said, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? He goes, I'm all right. He said, so how does 92 sound? And I said, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right. So you took the high road and was hoping for some leniency.
I just listen. Here's the thing. Like, I just try to be as respectful to the guy as I can. Like, he's got a job to do. Like, clearly, you
weren't going to try to argue with him.
No, I mean, he's got a job to do. He was cool about it. He wasn't a jerk, or anything like that. So,
should have offered to race him. Who can get to 150 fastest? If I win, you got to let me go.
I'm pretty sure I'd have won that.
Yeah.
You're like, only 92? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, man.
I would have said, you're generous. Yeah, thank you. I'll take that. Well, we're glad you didn't it didn't get worse. But I would not do the lawyer thing now because you're all incriminated now, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we could just delete this.
I mean, with our tens of viewers, somebody's going to report this.
It is out there on the interwebs forever, bud.
It's going to make it to the judge in no time.
Yep, yeah. You are just done.
Hey, we should tell anyone that actually comes in and looks at this on Sunday that we are not live today.
Yep.
So we're not able to respond to your comments.
This is pre-recorded. We're recording this on Friday the 19th. Because the fact that by the time this does broadcast, it will be Father's Day, and we've already alluded to, we are all fathers, and we like to spend the day with our families.
Yeah.
And, do other things like cut grass and whatnot.
I was thinking like eating
I did
some
mine
ribs.
today.
Ribs.
Think about eating some ribs, maybe.
Oh, that's good eating.
So,
Hey, I was at Publix today. They had tomahawk steaks on sale. And I was there to buy steaks. And I looked at these bad boys and I said, you know what? I'll take 2.
Whoa.
That's not what I was there for, but the price was right. And I said, let's do it, man. I'm going to give these things a shot.
So the tomahawks were on sale?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they were like $10.99 a pound.
Nice.
Once this rolls on Sunday, Ashley is going to blow you up so fast. That comment.
For eating protein?
2 of them.
So she doesn't eat any meat. Remember, she's a vegetarian. So anytime.
Yeah, but you've got to get protein. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna tell you, like the Chief and I did boot camp this week. We did back-to-back days. We did one morning at 6:30, followed by the following morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
They were not light days.
No. That second day was that was
brutal, man.
Yeah.
She's mad at you guys.
We did these like so. One of the jokes on our short was everything is a squat. We did like literally 1,000 squat thrusts.
That's fantastic.
I'm like,
hey, she owned it too. She's like, by the way, this is also a squat.
She's like, but first she called it a thruster, and I was like, nah,
more like a squatter.
Nah, this is like a squat thing.
Yeah,
man, those were.
Oh, dude, that was the worst part of the entire day.
Yes,
nah.
It was even worse than work.
Well, you might as well get it out of the way right first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, did you work that day, Clef?
Yeah, I did work that day.
Okay.
I was up at 4, stayed up. I was up until let me see. I did find an empty fire station around 5 o'clock, and I was able to. I sent a picture. I sent a small video of it actually. Yeah. I'm like, look, there's nobody in the kitchen, nobody in the day room. The trucks are all gone. I said, guess where I'm going?
To clean the base.
I'm gonna go clean the base. Yeah, you got that right.
We're not gonna put that out there. What I'm really doing.
Yeah, edit that part out too.
Sawing logs. Oh man.
So Pooh Bear, what's the first thing we're gonna tackle here?
Man, so we are getting close to sports, and then sports just fades away.
I feel like it's like a carrot dangling out in front of you, and then it
really is, man.
Son of a.
We've had we have a couple of MLB teams that are sending players home and staff home due to COVID-19. We have hockey teams doing the same. I think a Dallas Cowboy, either Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott was going to quarantine.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, Zeke Elliott. Nick Watney from the PGA. He's out. Yeah.
So, which, we all knew that this was going to happen once things started opening back up. Restrictions were relaxed. People were going to get out and start mingling. And none of these people are dying. They're just sick and capable of spreading it again. So they want to be isolated, and they'll probably be fine. So I don't think we're talking about any, loss of life or anything right here. But it's just a matter of it's just perpetuating. It's just not stopping. And it seems like we're getting really close to having a solution. Hockey was going to start back. NBA was going to do their thing in the bubble in Orlando, and it's just crumbling, falling apart. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, like a lot of the news this week has been Major League Baseball, and there's been some stories that came out today that will probably temper my viewpoint on this, but. These people, they're starting to piss me off.
Well,
I don't know any other way to say it, but they don't want to play baseball is the way that I'm looking at it. And hey, Major League Baseball, if you're listening, you don't have another Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa story to save really baseball. Good. You don't.
Not yet. Anyway,
get your ass back to work.
Well, the players are putting on their social media accounts anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, but
they keep rejecting offers.
Yeah, right. they keep rejecting offers, and at this point, I think it may have been Dr. Fauci. I apologize if I'm quoting the wrong guy, but he's basically saying you guys need to have this season finished before the cold and flu season rolls around in October and November. Well, if they're going to heed that advice, which my guess is Major League Baseball probably is at least going to listen. Every day they go without an agreement is one game shorter of a season.
Right.
And you're getting to the point where there's not going to be enough games for it to matter. Why even bother playing?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to, we've talked about this in a couple of episodes back, it's one thing to take a 162 game season and make it an 81 game season, but now they're talking about a 60, 65, 70 game season.
Right.
Like, what's the point of playing 60 Major League Baseball games?
Well,
y'all just go home.
Well, beyond that is, okay, so then are fans going to accept a World Series champion as a World Series champion? Or,
No.
Excuse me, or that always be an asterisk, or a Cy Young winner?
That will always be an asterisk.
It'll always, no matter what it is, it'll be an asterisk for that year.
Right.
60 games doesn't even get you to the All-Star break.
No,
in a regular season.
60 games. I mean, how many starts is that for a starter? If they go every 5 or 6 days,
it's 12.
How many? They're going to get 12 starts in.
Yeah.
So 12 starts. Let's say they went 9 innings a game. What is that? 108 innings. Like, these guys are used to throwing 250, 260 innings. If I was going into a season knowing I only needed to pitch in 12 games, I'm bringing fire.
Right. That's good for entertainment. Let's see your 97-mile-an-hour heater for 8 straight innings.
Yeah. Well, so let's see here. So what is it? The owners have said, several owners are supposedly at the point now just saying, let's just scrap the season. They'll probably lose less money if they just scrap the season, is how they're looking at it.
They will. They've already had their tickets and whatnot lost, and if they don't have to pay the players, then they're good.
Right.
Well, I think the on the owner's side of this dispute, whatever you want to call it, they're going into the season knowing they've already done the math that they're going to lose X amount of dollars per game.
Right, which they can probably write off.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why they're saying, hey, the lesser games we play, the less money we lose. And the players are saying, hey, we want to play more games.
Well, the players should have been out there, when they first offered them 82 games. The players, they've been shooting themselves in the foot since this whole thing started.
I'm with you.
And then here's the thing from the owner's point of view. Here's the thing from the owner's point of view, though. Yeah, so if you're very short-sighted and you're just looking at this saying, all right, let's get out of this year with the least damage possible. But look at the damage you're doing to the game and to the fans. So you're going to actually start hurting yourself for subsequent years coming up.
Matt, that's the whole point I'm making.
Yeah.
You're losing me as a fan right now.
Right.
I'm done with
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But are you really? Because you just said maybe some recent events are changing your mind. So if they do play, or even if they start playing next year, are you going to just come right back?
Listen, am I going to forget the labor dispute that caused them to delay the restart of Major League? Probably so. If the season, that's if the season gets canceled because of COVID. If it gets canceled because these two sides can't come together, I'm going to have a hard time. Again, you don't have another Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa summer.
Right. But aren't we already at that point? Because they've done so much damage and the bickering and the pettiness has already been done. So even if it is canceled because of COVID, really, they could have been in spring training by now, right? Theoretically, if they had done this weeks ago or a month ago, they could have been in spring training. They could be playing
games. We were talking about opening day on the 1st of June.
Yeah. So
that was 8 weeks ago.
Look at the damage they've already done. And like so many people point out, it's bigger than just you idiots. This is something for the country. This is something people need to do. They're locked up. They're cooped up in their house. They're going bananas.
Not just that. It's
divorced.
It's the minor league system. It's the travel agent that handles the team. It's the guy that sells popcorn. It's all those people that are not making money right now, at least not in their traditional or normal capacity.
What is the Klingon doing right now?
Oh my gosh. That was his life, man. Every sporting event, this guy was selling.
I don't say I've seen that guy at the Trop. I've seen that guy at the Ice Sports Forum. What is the real name of that place now?
The Amalie Arena.
Family Oil.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, just you've got custodial staff, you've got travel staff. There's scouting staffs. There's so many people affected aside from just the major league players or the national people in the top leagues that you see.
But I'm not saying necessarily that should be the motivating factor is, the cafeteria help or whatever else, or the bus drivers or even the airline pilots to fly them from game to game. But I'm saying, for the people who pay the money, the fans, the public,
Right.
the thrill of the respect to the game itself. It's not like we're asking any of these guys, or not us, but even the owners, the players. Nobody's asking them to play for free. No one's saying that you are not going to go back and you're not going to get your contracts. You're not going to do everything else next year when things are back to normal. It just seems so ridiculous that they keep fighting so hard. And now we're like this close, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're still petty.
Yep.
It's still, well, nope, 71 games, nope, 69 games, nope, prorated, partial prorated, half prorated, and then there was the other thing where, in part of these dealings, the players, the union was saying the folks who got their bonus, not bonus money, but their like their stimulus money, whatever you want to call it, when this thing first started happening. Yes. I think it was tier 1, 2, and 3 players, whatever it was. Now they want that money forgiven and not taken, so they get the salary and they get to keep that as a bonus. That's one of the things that they're arguing for. And I'm just like, if you're really going down there as a typical fan who's out of work or who makes their $50,000 a year or whatever, and is asked to pay, $30 a game and $20 to park and $50 for a hat and all that, you're insulting them.
Mm-hmm.
And the game's, it's not the game anymore. And everybody seems to forget it's the fans who make the sport. Really is.
And in the middle of all this, they've devised a new scheme to make even more money by adding advertisements to jerseys.
Yeah. Okay. This is when you need to be arguing about this too, right? Now is the time.
I don't know that I have a problem with this.
I've got a small problem with it.
We'll speak.
Well, I mean, I see where it's going to become a distraction. I can't imagine. I don't like the Yankees at all, right? I'm a Rays fan. I hate the Yankees, but I can't imagine anybody putting anything else on that uniform.
The Yankee uniform.
Any uniform, but the classics, your traditional, the ones that are Hall of Fame type
White
jerseys,
the Cubbies,
the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Yankees. I don't want to see anything on that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like the Diamondbacks, I don't care, whatever.
What if we can get the Man Event logo on the Rays jersey?
Boom.
Okay, I'm all for it.
Now we're
there he is.
Let's go. Pooh Bear just got behind it now. Pooh Bear's behind it now.
No, I see where there is modernization to all these types of things, and eventually we're probably going to get there that way anyway. I personally thought that this is a couple of years ago that teams would start to be named after sponsors. Like you would have the Nike Cowboys of Dallas instead of having cities be, because we're really America, the United States is the only one that does this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Love, you're the big soccer fan. You can tell us all about the Fly Emirates. That's not, I don't know what that is. The Spur of football club, something or another. There's no affiliation to a locale. City.
I think that's soccer, especially in Europe. The branding of the team's jersey is definitely very prevalent, and it's the prevalent thing on the jersey, other than the player's name and number on the back.
Mm-hmm.
It being Coca-Cola on the front or Fly Emirates, you said, and there's other ones that are out there. Then it's interesting to me because like you follow some of these teams, and like the style of the jersey remains the same, but this year's jersey says Fly Emirates on it. And, next year's jersey's got somebody else's name on it. Like what you're getting at is the Yankees have worn the same pinstripes forever.
Yes.
Right. And that's the recognizable thing. So here's the thing. You could see the same recognizable pinstripes, but today they're sponsored by Nike, on the jersey. And 3 seasons from now, when the naming rights of that jersey goes away, it's, Burger King. It's Burger King. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what do you do in a small market? What do you do in a small market, say like Tampa, a smaller market, where you can't get a giant sponsor to take on, like one small section and they cover the entire uniform with it? So they've got to do patches all over it with, we got, Fuddrucker, Fredericks. What's the name of the place right outside? No, not that one. That would be a good one. the place right outside the Trop.
Fergs.
Oh, Fergs.
Fergs. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got Fergs, and you got just patches like an old woman quilt. These guys are going to be running around in.
Right.
How about this? So you get you want to make the Rays more popular? you do get them sponsored by Fredericks of Hollywood, and then you make them wear some pretty funky uniforms.
Hey, it's like Bull Durham when the guy wore the garters.
Here comes Willie Adamas in a girdle.
What was?
But here's the thing:
the guy in Bull Durham. What was his nuke or whatever? It was nuke.
Oh yeah,
pitcher. Yeah.
The pitcher nuke. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with I don't know about Fly Emirates and the soccer, but here Bucks fans, because they're the hometown team. They're Tampa. We're Tampa. Rays, right? Lightning, right here. Lightning, because they're your hometown team. They represent where you're from. That's the kind of the draw. Mm-hmm. So do you lose a lot of that? Do you lose a lot of your identity? Do you lose fan loyalty if you start switching that up?
I think you're going to lose a lot if that happens, because now, I mean, like when I was a Steelers fan, when I was a child, I lived up north. I was very young. I was a huge Steelers fan. I moved down here, and I actually told, the running back the Buccaneers drafted ahead of Tony Dorsett.
Ricky Bell?
What'd you say?
Ricky Bell?
Ricky Bell. So I met Ricky Bell at a Popeye's Chicken. He owned it, and he was signing stuff there. Dad takes me up there to meet this guy, and he goes, "Who's your favorite team?" I said, "The Steelers." And he goes, "Well, we're going to try to beat them." And I said, "Nah, good luck. You guys aren't that good." Anyway, but the thing is, I became a Bucs fan because I lost contact with the Steelers, and I'm going to tell you, it was tough because the Bucs weren't on TV, and those were the dark days of the Buccaneers. But you identify with your city. They live here, they work here. That's why you become a fan with them. If you lose Tampa Bay and they're just the Buccaneers, based on their past schedule or past performance, pretty good chance I'm a Giants fan with Matty Ho, or I'm off to whatever. I start the bandwagon team. So
they would still be familiar with a place to play. Like they would have to have a home base. It just may not be affiliated in the name.
Which, by the way, I believe in the NFL that their practice jerseys are.
They are, yeah.
branded.
Some of their spring or their it's not called spring training. The preseason training camp jerseys do have logos and things. Car rental companies, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you would have the bigger brands though, like the Nikes and the shoe company brand and the ones that are already affiliated, like Under Armour. They're not going to be affiliated because they want to be. There's probably more profit for them in representing lots of different athletes, not just one team.
Yeah.
So you're going to have like a different tier of sponsors. It's going to be maybe Ford or Chevrolet or Coca-Cola, like you mentioned. And even then you might get some kickback because they don't want to be pigeonholed into one team. They want to represent a numerous amount of teams or players.
So my understanding is the reason that bless you, that Major League Baseball is looking at this is it does help the owners make up a little bit of what they're going to lose by actually having the season. And my understanding is it's only a 2-year deal. It would be this season and next season.
Oh yeah,
once you let that genie out of the box, it's
exactly
over.
Right. That's you can't.
Once they get a taste of that money.
Yep. Because it's going to go from being on one sleeve to being on both sleeves to being on the back to being on the front.
Yep.
And here's the thing: it's not
players are going to get a cut.
Exactly, it's not going to help them because it's going to be revenue in, revenue out because everybody's going to want a piece of it. Mm-hmm. So eventually you're going to have a team that's going to get a big influx of advertising money, and they're going to spend it on the team. Okay, they're going to buy more qualified players, better performing players. Eventually, everyone's going to do that. And the only thing that's going to happen is, the Yankees are going to go from a $200 million payroll to a $300 million payroll.
Right. And
the Rays are going to be in the same position. They're going to get, another $10 million in advertising, and they're going to have to spend it all on players. Nobody will be better. And we're going to have to all sit there and look at, Wawa on somebody's uniform.
Well, it could be that what they do is because, like you got revenue sharing, right? So that the small market teams get all the money. They do the advertising league wide. So say McDonald's is a league sponsor. So every shirt for every team carries the McDonald's logo. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's what they would be thinking. Mm-hmm. But the other thing too is that, if they were going to use the money and say, we're going to make it more affordable for the fans or, we're going to do something like that. Great. But what's going to end up happening? The $300 million contracts are now going to be $305 million contracts.
Yeah.
That's where the money's going to go.
Yeah.
And so
it eventually makes
screwed?
it eventually makes it into the player's pocket one way or another. Hey,
Right.
so just what are your thoughts? So if the Rays have a jersey sponsor, who is it?
Outback,
let's see.
maybe.
Yeah.
Publix,
Publix,
Publix
maybe.
is a good one.
Something local.
Jable Circuit.
Hooters.
Jable.
Hooters.
Hooters could be, yeah. Beef
Ferg's.
O'Brady's.
Beef O'Brady's.
Sunken Gardens.
So
No, you're
yeah,
fired.
but Disney. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say Disney.
Yeah.
That would be
Busch
great.
Gardens.
Yeah.
Man,
Disney
it'd
would
be
be
great to
great.
get some Disney money into this ball team.
Well, Disney is already affiliated with the Angels, so
That's
I'm not
right.
sure how that would work.
yeah, that's
Mm.
right.
It would be like you said, Busch Gardens, and Anheuser-Busch would do it, and
Yeah,
bang.
maybe
Yeah.
Universal Studios.
So, what's your sentiment on this? So, we've been without live sports, professional sports on TV for 13 weeks. Can you,
You got
see
NASCAR?
Can you see
NASCAR's not
the
a sport we already
future
covered
without
that.
it?
I think we're going to see a future without it. I don't think we're going to have to imagine it for very long.
So I'm saying, like, the longer we go without it, the less of a need we realize. Like,
Oh, sure.
and I think
it won't go away.
Well, I mean, there's too much money to be made, but I'm just saying, like, as a fan, like, I think sports are in trouble. Professional sports are in trouble.
Yeah.
But I think it's more from the greed side than it is from. I mean, this people would get over, and sports would be right back.
Well,
But
I'm just saying,
I would
like,
love to go back to the days where you had to have your transistor radio and you listened to baseball while sitting in a hammock, and you lived by the descriptions. I mean, that would be so cool.
Listen, you're welcome to go back to that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want that. I
I'm
like high
out.
definition television.
yeah.
Come
I'm good.
on.
So
Okay, there's
what I
nostalgia
mean
there.
is like, our routines and our habits have changed in the last 13 weeks in all facets of our life.
Mm.
And so after 13 weeks of not having professional sports, how apt are you to be glued to the TV every night if the Rays are on?
I'm not. I'm finding other things to do.
That's what that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Since this has come about, I've spent a lot of time doing online educational classes on learning this business and how to edit and shoot and all kinds of other things. So that's what's been occupying my time. But you're right. Every night at 7:00, I'd be watching baseball.
You'd be watching
But I'm not.
baseball.
And
Yeah.
more. And the other thing is too. I've had 2 instances now where I had some free time and wanted to go to a ball game, or just sit and watch a ball game, and it's just it's terrible. It's not happening. It's very frustrating. I've got a week coming up next month. My wife and kids are gonna be out of town. I'm like, great. Mentally, I'm thinking, I'll go see a ball game. I'll go see a movie, and forget about it. None of it's happening. I'm gonna be sitting around here bored.
Well, no,
Yeah.
AMC's opening up soon, I think.
Well, I think too.
You go see
What
a
about? I mean, not. I'm going to take us down a different path in sports, but network television, like they've shut down production of a lot of these movies and a lot of these television shows because of COVID. So when the season comes back, what's going to be on TV? And there's not going to be any new shows, so we can't watch live sports, and we're going to be watching reruns.
Well, I can tell you,
We're watching reruns now.
Yeah, really.
I'm discovering shows that I didn't watch, I heard about. Then so I'm turning them on, and it's actually pretty cool because I don't have to wait for the next season, or if I want to watch the second episode, I just go ahead and roll right into it. It takes 40 minutes to watch an hour-long show.
You just now discovered all this?
Well, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of TV before, but I would watch what was current.
That's the only way I've been surviving when it comes to television. I haven't watched network television in a long time.
For me, I got to be honest, through this whole entire COVID thing, right? For the most part, I still go to work every day. I still come home. I still got to take care of everything around here.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't much of my routine hasn't changed. And I never watched a huge amount of TV.
Yep.
So I still don't do that. I do, where we'd be off season for the Bucks anyway, so we wouldn't be getting together for our usual Sunday thing. It hasn't changed all that much, but I honestly would rather listen to a lot of this stuff on the radio. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can be working outside. I got my headphones on. You're listening to the game. You're picturing your head. You're using your imagination. You're seeing it different.
I've done that before. I actually did enjoy that on, like Saturday afternoon, I'll be building something in the wood shop or something downstairs. And, I can't get to the TV because it's 2:00 or something and the baseball game's on. and listening to it on headphones while you're working, that's actually pretty cool. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But I still like that 7, 8, 9 o'clock time, sit on the patio, put a cigar in, put it on. Oh man, that's
Well, let me ask you guys this. So, the PGA tried something new last week when they came back. They had players that were mic'd up. Did you guys listen to any of that?
I did not know.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, live TV, right? Never works, right? And I think we've experienced that ourselves. But, they had a couple of F-bombs that were dropped on live TV. And then Adam Hadwin I actually found this interesting because you could hear the entire discussion between him and the official. So he's in the sand trap. He's got his ball in the sand. And the new rule I think it came in last year, it says like, there's a rock in the sand trap. You can pick the rock up. That's a movable object. You can pick it up and get out of your way. So he picks up a rock, throws it out of the sand trap. And then he goes to pick up a second rock. And he picks it up and it crumbles in his hands. Not a rock. It was a sand. So he calls the official over. He tells him the story. So you're listening to the whole thing live. You don't have to wait for Dottie to come on and give you her version of it. So you're getting the whole thing as he's talking to the official, and he says, I kind of assume it's a stroke, and he goes, well, let me go double check on this. So the guy he makes a shot, and the official comes back and he tells him, he goes yeah, he goes it's definitely a stroke, and he walks away. And so Adam says screw you, but thanks. He says it but he says it under his breath. The official doesn't hear it, but it was as loud as can be on the on the audio. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, I wonder what other conversations we're missing out on live sports that we want to hear mic'd up, and then what just wouldn't work mic'd up.
I would definitely want to hear the officials in an NFL huddle, talking about a penalty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's taken so dang long.
Yes. What are they saying? What is it? What did you see? What did you have?
No, they're like, just act like we're busy for 5 minutes.
Yeah, like, hey,
that's what we want to find out. Is that what they're really doing?
They're like, you're not going to call that against Tom Brady, are you? You realize that was Brady? Oh, my bad. You're right. I didn't realize it was Brady.
Hey, so let me going back to that, Cliff. So if this guy isn't mic'd up, which means there's probably also he's being followed by probably a designated camera as well for a whole round.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right? Well, they all are. They all have camera crews. They've got mic booms. They've got the whole thing.
Does the dude own the penalty? If it wasn't like, because that's not a fair stroke.
Well,
I think he didn't do anything that improved his lie. He didn't improve anything that was going to help him score lower on that hole. You know what I'm saying? That was a bull crap rules violation.
So here's the thing with the PGA. The PGA, you still call your own penalties. And if you're the guy, there was somebody a couple years ago that didn't call a penalty on himself, and he was essentially ostracized from the tour.
And I think he was DQ'd from the tournament.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so somebody sent in the video from their cell phone to the PGA.
Yes, exactly how it went down. Yes,
that's happened numerous times.
So I think that as a player who respects the game, if you're a player who respects the game, you have to. That's part of it. You have to make that call. And so the question is, does he call it if he's not mic'd up? I think he probably does. I think he does. He realized what happened.
Because the Javi call that penalty?
Absolutely not.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
By the way, so I played golf. I played golf yesterday. I played 9 at Bloomingdale, and I'm gonna be the first one to admit, man. I tell you what, I took 2 off the first tee. I took 2 off the second tee. And I was playing with my brother-in-law, and I told him, I said, "Hey, if we don't count those tee shots, I'm actually shooting like 1 over par every hole." Plus, I had on my scorecard was +1, +1.
You don't count them, absolutely, right?
If only.
There was a disclaimer, and he looks at me and he goes, "I've counted every stroke since we've been out here." And I said, "Well, your scorecard sucks."
Yeah, because this goes all the way back to like the 70s, where people have been able to call in on broadcasts and say, "Hey, I saw Arnold Palmer do something that was against the rule book."
Yeah.
And he may not even have known it. Like it was an example of a guy I used to work with told me somebody took their shoes off to get into the water to make a shot. Like the ball was on the bank of this pond or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls up his pant legs, and I don't know if he took his shoes off or socks off or something, put them on the side. When it makes the shot, but somebody called in, like 2 viewers called in and said that's illegal. They're like, what are you talking about? They went back to the scorebook, and now he had already finished his round and signed his scorebook.
Oh.
They go back to the rule book and find that you can't remove your shoes once you put them on or something silly like that. They're like, well, yeah, and he signed his thing, DQ.
Wow.
Didn't matter where
you sign your card, right? Yeah. Once you sign your card,
so it behooves the golfer to say to call even if you're over, like even if you over penalize yourself because
the other side is just getting disqualified.
That's better than a DQ. Now you've made no money. Now instead of finishing 10th, you finish 20th. Great, but you get DQ'd, no cash, you're done.
Yeah. Well, listen, going back to the mic'd up. We all watched, the Tom Brady, the Peyton Manning, with Phil and Tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made that such a great broadcast was those guys being mic'd up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that was good.
That's what made that great was, now obviously they were candid. I don't think you're going to hear much out of Tiger walking down the 18th fairway at Augusta in the 4th round.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's probably not saying a word.
No,
but
talking strategy.
Yeah, in that environment, man, that was great TV. Those guys all being mic'd up.
Wonder what would happen if you're doing that, and in the background when Tiger's out, walking, all you hear is this guy going, "Jackass." Jackass. See his reaction.
I feel like if they
Happy Gilmore,
I feel like if they mic'd up like tennis players, that could actually help tennis. Because they're up there, he's getting ready to serve, and he's like, I'm gonna cram this one right down the middle on him, and he's not gonna. It's gonna be an ace or something like that. He kind of calls a shot,
and then he does it.
And then he does it, and he's like, I told you, just kind of mumble stuff under his breath. But the other guy, he's saying it. They're back there going, I'm gonna ace you right now. I'm gonna make you. You're not even gonna move. Your feet aren't gonna move. It's gonna blow right past you, and it'd be fun to hear that.
Here's the sport you needed in bowling. And I'm telling you, you need to get these guys mic'd up in bowling. First off, they got to put their beer down, and then they get out there and they just bowling would be funny.
Well, you might as well mic up cornhole, diving.
Well, they do cornhole. That's mic'd up already.
The Johnsonville Brats tournament or whatever it is.
But what are they saying to themselves when they're walking up to the line? They're like, all right, left foot, a third arrow, left foot, third arrow. We got balls.
No, but as that ball is spinning sideways or whatever they're doing with it in bowling, they're going, come on, baby. Or,
turn over.
Turn over.
Yeah, their ball's name's Lucille or something. Come on, Lucille. Come on, baby. Daddy needs a new pair of bowling shoes. Yeah,
I tell you, I wouldn't mind hearing hockey players mic'd up because I don't know what they're saying out there.
There would be a lot of F-bombs in
that. Nothing but F-bombs. Well, it would be in Russian. It would be in Russian. Nobody would.
It would be mother F-bombs.
Right, but I want to know what is it they're saying, like call for the puck, because it can't be, something obvious. It's got to be other, small little hints and noises, things like that. That's what I'm interested in, is hear that.
Caw.
Look up here. Somebody gets checked into the boards. You can hear like them gasping for air. I can't breathe.
How about when they drop gloves and they're throwing blows, man? You son of a.
Right, because a lot of times that's more friendly than anything. They're like, all right, I got to go at you, right? It's there's the conversation there that not necessarily always in a an aggressive, angry tone. It's like, hey, I didn't like the way you smacked my shin, buddy. You're about to catch it in the face.
Right. So Matt, when you mentioned bowling, I went ahead and Googled the bowling movies, and I couldn't remember the name of Kingpin, but now I got it. The one-armed man.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting these, and I was like, first of all, it comes up top 10 bowling movies, and I'm like, wait,
there's 10 bowling movies? Come on,
10, maybe more than that. But there's the Dreamer, Kingpin, the Big Lebowski, blah blah blah. But then the one that I really do want to see, Sorority Babes and the Small Bolorama. That's like the number 5.
Bowling.
Wait a minute. So there's 10 movies
about an adult. Is that 10. An adult movie?
I don't know, but after that goes back to 1998, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama, and then it goes all the way back to 1942 with Alley Cats.
Now,
So,
did Grease make the movie? Because there's bowling in the original Grease, or maybe it was Grease 2.
It didn't make the list here that I see, so I don't think Grease is an actual bowling movie.
Well, I can't imagine most of those movies are centered on bowling. What about, how do you have an entire movie on bowling?
Is the Big Lebowski on there?
The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah, that's like number 4.
Dude,
here, bowling alley cats, another alley cat, gutter balls. That's actually sounds not too bad. And then the Adam, the Amazing Zombie Killer.
Oh my gosh!
Is a bowling movie?
It's a bowling movie. Adam is an amazing zombie killer, has a horny girlfriend, and is the best bowler in the league.
Yeah, that's not the type of movie we were thinking about.
Attaboy, Adam.
Hey, can you share that on the screen really quick?
But he doesn't tell that to Dario and the slashers, the evil bowling rivals.
Oh my gosh. It's the Crips and Bloods in a bowling alley.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I didn't know bowling was so exciting. I may become a bowler now. I don't know.
I mean, it can't get much better than that description. I mean, the description of the movie sounds phenomenal.
The whole thing. You just heard the whole story. There's nothing else to see.
So gutter balls, by the way. A bowling night will turn into a bloody death match for a team of teenagers as a deranged serial killer is taking them down one by one.
So the whole thing around bowling is killing people.
Yeah, apparently these guys are nuts. Don't go to
I would have thought maybe it was so boring they'd killed themselves.
Well, you forgot about the sorority girls.
Oh, here we go. You want the description on this one?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
As part of a sorority ritual, pledges and their male companions steal a trophy from a bowling alley. Unbeknownst to them, it contains a devilish imp who makes their life a living hell.
I mean, come on, man.
The stars in this I've never heard of. Andreas Jones, Leanna.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
That's like, I know who that is.
That's
good.
That's my favorite.
That cat can bowl.
Oh my gosh. Forget his acting chops. He's here for the bowling.
And here's the thing. Not one of those storylines has anything to do with bowling. Bowling's just like...
By the way, the number 3 bowling movie of all time, Strikes and Spares, 1934.
Oof.
Yeah. You know that's in black and white.
Dude, they had to go deep to find 10 bowling movies. So, hey, how about... I got another one. How about those guys that do curling? Like, have you ever noticed when you watch curling during the Olympics, there's a lot of communication going on there that we can't hear.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear it. Clean, 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 clean. Sweep, sweep, sweep. I hear it.
Slow, stop.
Especially when they're like, behind the stones and they're kind of setting it up. Like, all right, what do you think? Should we go over here?
That's like Google curling movies now, and I'm looking at curling movies. It says men with brooms.
Oh my heavens! Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I only watch curling. I'm from the South. I've never experienced curling live. Didn't even know it existed until several Olympics ago. But the only reason I watch,
I never knew curling either.
Curling is there are some very attractive women that do curling in the Olympics.
Oh, you dog!
Hey, I'm sorry. That's it. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be watching.
Well, here's the thing. Can you play like junior varsity curling in high school or?
Apparently, it's
how do you get into curling?
Well, apparently, it's something like bowling, where you have a curling rink or a curling arena, and you go and if you live in Buffalo, New York, or someplace, you spend your Saturday night at the curling rink, and you're on a curling team, and that's it. You do it. It's recreation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold outside, so I guess curling is cold inside too. So
well, if you notice, all these kind of bar type sports and indoor they're all come from the Northeast, where it's just too bitterly cold to be outside. Right. So you have darts and pool and
although darts is cool.
Well, I mean it's that's where people are good at it.
What's that thing where they throw the hatchet?
Hatchet throwing.
Hatchet throwing.
Hatchet.
You nailed it.
Although I used to play darts, there's this tavern up in Connecticut called Bidwell Tavern, and it goes back to like the 1700s, and that's what we did. You go in there, you play darts, you got
a foosball table behind you there. That kind of stuff was popularized up there. That sandy, what's the one where it's like a sandy bowling alley, but you stand at it and you got a little silver disc?
Oh, yeah, those are
You slide that down.
It's like skee ball or something like that.
It's cool though. That's fun.
It's kind of like that, but you slide it down.
These are all games you play with, like, I don't know about curling, but even if you're going to make it like a professional sport, it's be the only one of the few sports you'd play while drinking beer.
Right. You have them in bars and it's in pubs. And somebody explained to me one time, a guy I was working with was from the Northeast, and he was like, that's all you had to do. You had your block, and when you went downstairs from your apartment, townhome, whatever, there was a pub or a bar that was your bar. That's where you went. You didn't go across the street. You didn't go down the block. You went to that one, and you went every night, and everybody knew who you were. And you played darts against the same people. You played pool against the same people. That sandy sliding game, you played that against the same people.
That's what it was. And then you'd go out and you dread leaving and go into your car when it was 5 below outside. I used to hate that.
All right, I got one for you.
Here we go.
How about table tennis? Like those ping pong guys that play they play 20 feet from the table.
You want to mic those guys up?
Yeah,
they're all in Chinese, man. We're not going to understand a word they say.
And it's going to be it's gonna be a lot of grunting, right?
That's it.
A lot of grunting.
COVID. And then someone says life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna get. Hey, so the other thing, Cliff, I looked up an article on the whole mic'd up thing, and again in the PGA, Brooks Koepka, he made a statement that, listen, if the commentators would just shut up, you'd hear everything we say anyway.
Well, he's one of the F-bomb guys, by the way. He that's why he's upset, is because he dropped an F-bomb out there, and kind of wishes he had a chance to take that back, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying that, listen, there's a boom microphone within 10 feet of every shot we take. If the commentators weren't talking, you would hear the conversations that were him and the caddy are having.
Yeah, right. They're there angled for the impact of the club on ball. They're looking for that snap.
Yeah.
And the whoosh. It's not looking for voice. Even though it does pick it up, that's not what its primary goal is.
Did they have it on delay during the PGA?
Oh, they might now.
They might. Jim Nantz had to apologize. He got on live air and apologized for one of the F-bombs. That was the one that Rahm dropped, John Rahm. And so they may have gone to a commercial and then come back with a 5 or 6 second delay. I don't know.
Yeah, that
not like they shouldn't have known that was going to happen anyway. They've been covering golf.
How did that happen? Have they ever watched me play? I mean, come on. They'll get the full Indian dance.
There's a chance they did this on purpose so that they could have some publicity, right?
People like us would be talking about it, right?
What's the fine the FCC is going to give them compared to how much it would cost to advertise?
Listen, if you ever wanted to have video rolling during a round of golf, it's when Pooh Bear hits a gap wedge. Like a high loft, wedge,
like a 60-degree wedge. Yeah.
Because I was with him one time in Walden Lake where he wrapped that club around a tree, and it was more like this.
That was after the shot.
That thing takes off into the woods.
We've all been there, man. No shame in your game.
Tell you what, man, golf is so frustrating.
Yeah, but you always hit your best tee shot of the day on 18.
Every time.
That thing will go right down the center of the fairway.
Brings you back, right?
You'll be like, dude, let's go play another round. I finally dialed it in.
Right, I figured it out.
I solved it.
Oh gosh. So not getting off the mic'd up thing a bit, but we got footballs coming up, right?
Maybe.
Or is it? That's what I was just gonna say. Is football actually gonna get played this year or what? What do you guys think?
Man, here's the thing. I think sports in general are in a bad place.
Right.
And that's kind of why I backed down a little bit on Major League Baseball, because in the end, I think it's going to be COVID that decides whether we get a season in or not.
Dude, I don't want to spiral into another COVID conversation, but that is the problem. I mean, that's where this is going. And until we get a vaccine, everything is up in the air. The cases are up in Tampa. You cannot go to a public building now without a mask on. And the same thing in St. Pete. And I saw today There's about a half a dozen states. The entire state is that same way. We might want to get in the mask making. We need to get man. I wonder if we can.
We need some man event masks. Yeah, my company just ordered some with our logo on it. Yeah, you can get them.
Let's think about this though. Do we really want the word man event on our face?
No, more than Ashley wants it on a T-shirt. You're right. It's a big circle with it.
You could just use the initials TME.
I'm glad this was a forethought, not an afterthought, because that could have been embarrassing.
But you know what? Maybe something on the side, little logo like the one above your head there, beloved.
Yeah. So I don't know, Matt. I think all of I mean, obviously, I think NASCAR can continue to go. By the way, PGA had somebody test positive, I believe, today. I think if more of those players show up testing positive, you'll see them shut that tour down. In the NHL, the Lightning closed down their team facility today because some players and employees tested positive. And still here in Tampa, the Philadelphia Phillies have a training facility in Clearwater. The Blue Jays have one in Dunedin. Both of those clubs had people test positive for COVID, and they shut those training facilities down. So the challenge is if that's the response, is you have to shut that facility down. I think it's going to be hard to get it open. I've got a business partner of ours that had an employee test positive for COVID this week that was in the office. They shut the office down and then had to spend thousands of dollars to have the place cleaned, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that it's almost a deterrent if they're going to get it. If you start to see a bunch, and I think, the NBA looks like they're going to be first up. Like they have a definitive plan. If it takes off like wildfire there, you might not see professional sports, which would just,
We've talked about this in the past about how the first league to go is going to kind of be the template, the footprint for the other leagues, and it's going to fall like dominoes then. And I think the same philosophy applies to if there's a problem to where you're going to have the rollback. You're going to see, okay, well, let's start. We're building, and then there's a problem, and it'll just all collapses and goes back the other way.
Well, here's the thing. The NBA is supposed to play in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
And now Florida is becoming this COVID hotbed. So in and of itself,
Miami is really, if you look at it, it's really just Miami. But
actually, the Hillsborough County is catching up with those numbers.
We still only have, I think, 4,000 cases.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pulling up the dashboard.
So then you talk about football, for example, right? And the Cowboys, right? They had a problem. Didn't Ezekiel Elliott test positive or something? And several people in the locker room. Yeah, maybe it was suspected. And then there was someone else, the Texans, maybe. I can't remember. There's another team that did and all that. I don't know. Is this, I guess you just got to wait for the vaccine, like Cliff was saying, but the whole world's going to stop.
I don't know. Listen, what are y'all's, what are the three of you? What are your social habits been the last couple of weeks with, are you guys going to restaurants? Do you wear masks? Are you going, how much risk are you outside of, having to go to work? How much risk are you taking that you're making a personal decision?
I only do it if I'm asked by the business that I'm entering. So yesterday we went to the Apple store to get something taken care of, and they asked us to wear masks and they checked our temperature. So I'm going to wear one if they ask me to. But the rest of the time we walked around the mall, I didn't wear one.
Yeah, and my question here is, if you remember when this whole thing started, they said, you needed the N95s, right? At least. Nothing else was effective.
But don't use them because the healthcare professionals need them.
Right. And then, now we're up to gas masks, and then who knows what's going to be next. But now we're back to just cover your face with anything. The cloth masks.
Right.
So, were we totally off base then, or are we just pandering to the idea of being safer now without really making any real effect? Because if the mask doesn't work, then if it works, then why were they saying it didn't work before? And if it didn't, I don't know.
The cloth does not protect you at all. What the cloth does is it restricts or what's a better word for it? Reduces the distance that your exhalation has. So if you normally exhale, say up to 3 feet, and then you cough up to 6 feet, I think is where they get their 6 feet from for coughing and sneezing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the mask, what it does is it reduces that range to maybe 2 feet. But it has the COVID is so small. It's like, it goes right through it. There's no protection for you. It does protect the people around you. So the idea is it limits the spread, so instead of spreading it in a 6 foot, radius around you, you're only spreading it to a 2 foot radius. And if everybody is staying away from you, then, you're okay. By the way, Hillsborough is nowhere near what Miami-Dade is. Miami-Dade, we're looking at total cases of 23,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tampa or Hillsborough County is looking at like almost 5,000 cases.
Right. It was 4,000 last night. I think we added a few hundred.
Yeah. 4,982 is where we're at today.
And
the median age, listen to this though. And I saw this on the news today. In the last 14 days, the median age for new COVID cases has dropped significantly. And in Hillsborough County right now, the median age is 39. Mm-hmm. So it's not the people. That's the problem. The young people are going out and they're not paying because they feel like they're immortal or invincible.
So thanks for calling me young, by the way.
Yeah, well, you're younger than me. Once you start getting the AARP stuff, you have to you just give up, man. When they start mailing stuff directly to your house.
But when you look at the 100 deaths that we have had,
mm-hmm.
the overwhelming majority, like 85%, I think, were in the over 72 category.
Yeah,
or
the other underlying conditions. But
so
that's
what you're
saying. So if it's the what do you call it? 39-year-olds getting it, right? But what's it doing to them versus, and then is the fear more that they're going to go home and they're going to infect the grandparents or they're going to infect an infant baby?
I know at least 5 people that are, roughly 40 or younger than 40 that have got it, that have had it. And they said it was really fine. They really weren't that sick. But the problem is not them. It's who they can spread it to.
Right.
So essentially me, I'd prefer not to get it. I don't have to.
Of course, I don't think anybody wants to have it. I mean, it may be the fact that we all need to get this in order to get over it. That's a real possibility as well. In which case, I say, bring it on. Let's go. Let's get this over with. Chicken pox it up. Let's all have a party and spread it and go home. That's how we used to do, right? The chicken pox.
I know. Right? I know people that when their kids got sick when I was young, they would bring their kids over.
Hey, Tommy's got chicken pox. It's a sleepover slumber party at my house tonight.
Yeah, let's go get it.
Right?
Get over it. Yeah.
Although I got it twice, by the way.
Oh well, look at you.
I had it real mild both times, so I honestly don't know if I'm immune to chicken pox or not.
I've never had it, so if I got it, I'm dead.
I mean, I got it. Right? I got it when I was 18. It was horrible.
Ooh. So I've just been looking at the numbers. It's very tough for me to say what is. I don't know. There's just a lot of unknowns still. I get the whole point of trying to protect the people with underlying conditions and the elderly that may be susceptible to it. But can we not find a better way to protect them than making everyone suffer, essentially?
Yeah.
I
mean, you could, just like you do during flu season, maybe, those who are most at risk got to do certain things. That's what I was saying. What is happening to the 39-year-old guy or girl who gets it?
Right. And there are some, I don't want anyone to think that we're downplaying anyone that has gotten ill, because there are. I was reading a story about someone that had it. I think they did have underlying condition, but they had it in like March, and they've been over it for a while now, but they have organ problems. Like they have some failures going on. Mm-hmm. And so there's going to be lasting effects probably for the rest of their life. And I feel horrible about that, but that's not the standard. The standard is people who get it, most of the time they don't even know they have it, or they have very mild symptoms and they move on with their life.
Yeah. So you asked, am I wearing a mask? And, one of the things that I take into my decision when I wear a mask is I actually look at the Department of Health numbers. In the zip code where I live, there are 35 active cases. And there has to be 200,000 people that live in this zip code. I don't know the number, but it's a lot of people. So I do not wear a mask most of the time.
It's a numbers game. Like I said, there's in our county, there's 1.5 million people in our county, and we have we have almost 5,000 cases now, and that's going back to January. So like active cases, people that have it currently that are able to spread it, it's probably less than 1,000.
Yeah, but I think the scary part is look at all the restaurants just in the past week, restaurants and bars that have popped with somebody who works at the restaurant.
Yep.
Tested positive for COVID.
Right.
And you don't, at that point, you have no idea how many people have been exposed, and their only choice is to shut down.
Right. And what you're finding is that one person earns or has symptoms that cause them to go get tested. They get tested, they're positive. Then they go back to work and say, hey, I'm positive, guys, I got to take off. Then you start checking out everyone else that works there. They're asymptomatic. They're not having any issues at all, but they test positive because they were exposed to it as well. But they weren't having symptoms. So, so it's like, man, those people probably never would have been caught or sampled without that happening. So are we hearing about this more because of that? Because there's such awareness to anyone you've come in contact tracing? Is that the reason why?
Right. It could be more testing and more people are being checked, but
it's definitely more testing.
I mean, what do you do? Does this go on forever? This is the new world, or at some point you got to go back to living, and just like every other disease that you can get.
Right.
I was talking to another friend, and I said, look, Spanish flu disappeared, the plague disappeared. This too will pass.
Herd immunity.
Herd immunity. Yes, absolutely. Although we're delaying herd immunity by
staying home.
By staying home, and just it's a full race. It's still a race for a vaccine.
Now, what does bother me though, and concerns me, is the studies on the mutation of the virus that is mutating and changing differently. How is that going to affect it? So, we have different strains of the seasonal flu. Spanish influenza was very deadly for a long time. I think that had a lot to do with the healthcare system that was in place. But, that has changed and morphed because of who we are. Our DNA, it changes depending on who the host creature is. Yeah. And so is this going to morph to where it's less hazardous to people or potentially even more harmful to people?
Like water, it's always going to find its equilibrium. At some point, it's all going to shake out. So what's it have to do with sports, though?
There's no sports.
There are no sports. Yeah.
No sports.
I know if we stop eating bats, maybe it'll go away.
Well, I mean, definitely not going to be sports with fans. I don't even think you'll see the NFL season kick off this year with fans.
Yeah, then it's not even sport.
But man, what's crazy to me is, what do you guys think about all these people going to Universal Studios?
I mean, it's everything that you're not supposed to do.
I'll tell you this. Busch Gardens opened last Friday, a week ago today. My wife and kids went, and they're going again this weekend to Adventure Island.
Are they sick?
No.
See?
Adventure Island, I have more confidence in going to Adventure Island just because the chlorine and everything else that they put in that pool water, man. I don't think anything survives that.
They're running about 7 parts per million.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. So
you come
I feel
out
like
blonde no matter what color hair is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the difference? Not to get into something too controversial, but protesting. They're as close together as you are at Universal and everything else. I mean, that's
the hypocrisy of the week right there. Nobody in the news says anything about protesters that are not wearing masks, but yet they won't let you into a church, at 50% capacity, or
for grandma's funeral.
Grandma's funeral, absolutely, man. I can't even travel to go. I have had 2 people that work for me that have both lost. One lost a sister, one lost a grandfather. They asked if they could travel on an airplane. They can't tell them they can't do it, right? They did tell them that if you're going to do that, then you're going to have to quarantine at home on your own time for 2 weeks before you're allowed to come back to work. But you can go to it. But there was another guy who doesn't work for me, but does work for the same department I work for. And he was right in the thick of the protest, no masks and everything else.
And nobody cared. Yeah.
And nobody cared. Yeah. So you tell me.
Is that what maybe that's the whole current spike going on is because of stuff like that? I don't know.
I think it's because of Memorial Day weekend.
There's a lot of blame being laid on that. Yes,
I think it's on Memorial Day weekend. I
and
think
we knew this was coming as restrictions were relaxed and people began to go out and do things. We knew we were going to get more cases. It was inevitable. You know, restaurants.
So do you take the city of Tampa approach, which is all right? Let's start masks, and then who knows if they're going to try and start shutting things back down, or do you take the Ron DeSantis approach? You know, where he says we ain't going back.
We can't go back. First of all, people aren't going to do it.
No, people aren't going to stand for it.
No, they're not going to do it.
So
now, have any of y'all are any of y'all going to restaurants?
Yeah, I have. I did go to one this morning.
Did you go to Chick-fil-A, Cliff? You went to Chick-fil-A?
Chicken biscuit.
No, I did go to the Wing House after golf the other day.
You went to Hole in One Donuts?
The Wing House.
Wing House.
Oh, Wing House.
Yeah. Were they wearing masks?
Were they wearing masks?
They were wearing a mask.
They've worn there.
Man.
Wow, that's an interesting scenario.
I was there for the chicken wings.
I did go to Outback a couple weeks ago, and then I went to I guess I've had a lot of takeout. Oh, they opened up a new taco/Italian joint right down the street from me here.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was telling me about that.
Actually, the pizza was good.
Really?
Tacos and Italian in the same.
It's a Mexican Italian restaurant. It used to be a great breakfast place that all the guys that work at the phosphate mines out that direction would go.
It turned into a barbecue place.
It turned into a barbecue place.
Yes, and
that was one of those places where you drove by on a Thursday morning and you saw a bunch of utility trucks out there, trucks from Verizon and phone companies and water utility companies. That's it's a good place to eat right there. That is your indication. It's a good place to eat. So I have not tried it since it was the Mexican Italian.
It turned into a taco place for a couple of weeks, like 3 months ago. Then it closed down. But they do have calzones there too, and I've got to go back and get a calzone. Pizza was good, so I'm going to get a calzone. It reminds me of pizza places up north because it's got the wood paneling and it just got that vibe to it. And I said,
your wife lets you eat calzones?
Oh, try and stop me.
Okay.
Tell you.
Okay, we can edit that part out.
Calzones with let me tell you, calzones are good, right? You get the
rogots.
You gotta have the rogots in there, and you got the the meat filled, and you gotta have the peppers, the onions. Oh, I gotta go.
It's like
vegetables.
It's like a pizza ravioli.
It's like an inside out pizza, right?
Yeah.
They're just
it's like a pizza ravioli. See, there you go. I just brought in the Italian with the taco.
Oh, how about that? It's a giant empanada.
Oh, there you go.
Almost. But anyway, it's good. So maybe I got to go back there. We have to give it a shot. But so I did eat there. I don't know if I went to any other restaurants, but I've been going to like Home Depot or Lowe's without with reckless abandon. I guess I'm just going in and do what I got to doing what I got to do because I got stuff to get done. I don't know.
Hey, speaking of reckless, what's the story with our good friend CHAZ?
CHAZ changed their name. CHAZ is now Chop.
CHAZ has been renamed. Yep. He went back in, he put in a petition, and they allowed him to change his name.
And the president tweeted this morning, he said they took over the place, and the first thing they did was put up walls. He goes, so I was right.
That is great. That is great. I mean, for the comedic value only, that is probably his best tweet ever.
Oh, man.
Well, why did they feel the need to put up walls, right? I mean,
wow, that is
find
awesome.
their border.
Oh, man, that is awesome. So what did they change the name to?
To CHOP, the College Hill occupied protest. Because what their rationale was that with the autonomous zone, that led them to say that this is a government-free, no longer American place, which would allow the American government and military to attack. So if they change it to the occupied protest, you have a First Amendment right to protest, peacefully assemble. So that's what they did. They said, well, they can't attack us if we're just protesting.
Well, they could have, and if they left it the other way, they could have been attacked by, like, let's just say you let Russia come in and say, Russia's going to go attack them, but our military can't help them because they don't want any American help.
Canada could have moved in and said, we now claim this as, South Vancouver.
Stick a big flag in the middle thing.
So have they formed like their own government?
No, they're anti-government.
Oh, they got dictatorship. They got Raz
Jay-Z the rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay-Z is the head of this movement?
No, Raz.
Oh, okay.
Raz. He's in charge. So
okay.
The Seattle police chief said there is no cop-free zone. He says there's no cop-free zone, but the reality is they will not enter the CHOP unless someone's life is in danger. So I read a story about someone that was witnessing a burglary of a bicycle store. He calls 911, says, "Hey, these guys are robbing this bike shop," and the dispatcher told him, "Sorry, there's nothing we can do unless someone's life's in danger." So these guys are just allowed to just do what they want there. What is going on?
Wow. Yeah, there was a video that came about this week of a car repair business. I think it was owned by father and son. They were actually there. They had the fence up. Some of the protesters started tearing down the fence, coming. I think there was a fire started, and they were able to defend their building. And thankfully, some of the other occupants came in and stopped the more aggressive ones. And they were telling, "No, this is not how we do things. This is wrong." They backed them up, which I applaud those folks for recognizing that.
Okay.
But those guys were armed with their AR-15s, and they were in full tactical gear. I think the one guy I saw interviewed had 3 or 4 magazines in his ballistic vest. They were ready.
Or someone else?
This
Or
the shop owner.
Okay.
The person defending his property, and his life, essentially, because he was there on property. And
he was locked and loaded.
He was ready. I'm like, but he even said, we caught the guy. And we talked to him, and I think he said we let him go. I'm like, okay.
How is this again not front page news?
Maybe it is.
Okay, so here's my other question for those of you who are experts of CHOP.
Like pork.
How are they funding this?
What is there to fund at this point?
Well, you said they put up a fence. How did they put up? Where did they get the funds for the fence?
They didn't buy a fence. The shop owner had a fence for his auto repair business that was already there.
No, Donald Trump said they put up a wall.
They put up road barriers that were owned by the city or the county or someone had. The roads.
So they're not self-supporting. Okay.
Of course not. No, just like the road is not. Just like the utilities are not. Just like the buildings they're occupying are not.
So why doesn't the government, or not the government, but why don't the local municipalities just shut off their power and water?
Because it's Seattle,
right? Because the mayor would be the decision maker on that, and the mayor is pretty much on the side of these people.
Because I'm telling you right now, you take air conditioning away from me, we can negotiate. It's time to negotiate.
Well, and I guess the mayor, if she supports this, she's really just putting herself out of a job because they don't want any government. They don't want a mayor.
Maybe. Well, yeah, you're right about that. But remember, these are the people that voted for her from who knows how long that she's been in office. This is the same. Seattle's the same place that elected a full-blown communist to their city council recently. Like admittingly saying, "I'm a communist. I want to take us in a communist direction." They're like, "Yep, sounds good. You're elected.
Welcome aboard.
Check. I'm pulling the lever for you. Some check."
Just too much rain in Seattle. No, thank you. I'll stay in Florida where the sun shines.
It's probably getting to the point where the pendulum is swinging the other way to where people are like, okay, we were all for some of the progressive and democratic platform ideas. We wanted these things over here. We like that idea about this, but you have taken it to a different level, and that pendulum is about to swing back, and they're about to get a different line of thinking when it comes to political alignment.
We'll see. Either way, I'm not going there. I don't like the rain.
Yeah,
I like Florida.
So you live here? I mean, it rains.
Yeah, but you get rain here for a couple months in the summer. But I mean, most of the time, it's called the Sunshine State.
Man, we haven't had any rain in like 2 weeks.
No doubt.
We had the whole weekend where it rained from like Friday night to Sunday afternoon, and then we haven't had a drop since.
And it was great. The pool was full. The grass was green. Ponds were full. Mosquitoes were out.
I had the frogs were chirping for a couple of days there.
Yes, but now nothing.
No. Well, it has been good flying weather. I did go flying a few times, though.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, I did my flying thing last weekend. Did I tell you guys about that?
No. The poker run.
I did the poker run. So I flew from my house all the way down to Wauchula,
Okay.
And then I did that Friday night, and we had a little bit of headwind, so it took us like 2 hours to get there, but it was cool. And then we flew into the Wauchula airport there, and we camped there overnight. And then Saturday morning, we got up nice and early, about 6:30, took off and flew out to Avon Park, had some coffee out there, donuts, flew back. Got a little bit of weather on the way back. Some people bailed out and decided to get rides back in, but I stuck it out. And it was a good time, man. Flying all around. Did a lot of flying.
So there was no Air Force bombing runs going on in Avon Park.
No. Although it is, that actually it is up by my house here too, but out there it's one of those, I forget what they call them. It's a military something zone.
It's a bombing zone.
Yeah, well, where military planes are known to travel. So it's a known military travel route or whatever. So you got to look out, but I've never seen anything, but I can't imagine anything would happen.
You won't see it.
You won't. Yeah, but
see it.
By the time I knew about it, my ass would have been through my brain already,
My dad swears they got some shrapnel in one of their cars one time. They had a minivan or something, and the hood suddenly on the drive. I think that's I can't remember what highway that is. It might have been 54 or something on that way.
I think it's 27.
Maybe 27 sounds
through
right.
Avon Park.
Yeah, they were driving that way, and when they got to wherever they're going, there was a hole in the hood. And it was about the size of like a 9mm. So he's like, this was either a round that was fired in the air and came down, or this was shrapnel from one of the bombs exploding on the driving range, because they heard them. They're like, we'd driving, we'd hear them doom, doom, doom. I'm like, well, maybe so.
Yeah, it could have been.
That stuff can travel, man.
Crazy. But that's why I'm not moving to Seattle. That's one of the reasons I'm not moving to Seattle. Plus, I'm not a Seahawks fan, so that wouldn't work.
I do want to go to that stadium though.
I would like to see the Space Needle, I guess. I could check that out.
Yep, that too.
Then I'd leave. I've been here. Good enough. Thank you.
Did you see? Oh, man, where's it at now?
Google.
It's someplace I had been. I think it was in Georgia. They got one of those glass bridges, and somebody was walking across it, and the glass cracked.
Yeah, I saw that.
It actually cracked.
No.
Yes. Dude, I would have been doing the full on Scooby Doo, getting off that thing. I would have been,
yes, sir.
Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah.
You might be over the weight limit if you broke the glass.
The elephant glass. Yeah. They always have that elephant at the end, the picture of an elephant standing on it.
Wow.
Man, that's why I can't go to the Sears Tower or whatever it's called now, because of that. It's got that overhang.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Chicago, yeah.
I'm too fat.
I didn't do that one, but I did the one in Canada at Toronto, the Toronto Space Needle. It's got the glass floor. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a glass floor. You see kids standing on it. They're jumping up and down. And I had to force myself to take that step.
Really?
Oh, wow. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, and I have no shame about it. I did not stay long.
They got that one over the Grand Canyon too, right?
Yep, they put a new observation deck in the Grand Canyon.
That wouldn't bother me. I think I'd be okay with it.
I don't know.
No, thank you. I'm not a fan of heights.
No. All right, don't go flying with me then.
It's tough to do when you're 6'.
That I would probably be okay on that once we got going.
Yeah.
But I'm also the guy who's like the whole time we're going up the roller coaster, click, 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 click. I'm like, why did I get on this?
Really?
And then I'm like, whoa! Then I'm glad I did. But like the click, 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 click. I'm like, why?
The anticipation, yeah.
Ooh. Gatlinburg. It was the Gatlinburg Sky Bridge. That's where it was at.
Oh, where is
Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Yeah.
I wonder where that is. We've been 100 times. I've never seen that advertised.
Me neither.
Well,
something new to go see now. There you go.
Next time you go up there, take a look and look for the new piece of glass.
Yeah,
the shiny new one.
Yeah, the shiny new one.
Bummer. Or that they just put a piece of tape over that old one, and that'll be fine for a while.
Dude, how about the guy that's got to go up there and change it out though? I mean, you got to take the old piece out, and then there's nothing but a hole there right in front of you.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm going to get this new one in. You're on your hands and knees trying to bring this piece of glass in.
And what do you tie it off to, right? Because I'm sure there's not a whole lot of, anchors.
He's just sitting inside. He's got his screw gun. He's taking it out, pulls up the glass. It slips. Oops.
Oh,
watch out down there.
Dude, that'd be worth watching, though. I guarantee that thing doesn't bounce. It's going to shatter. It doesn't bounce. Hey, Mike, you got a piece in the hood of somebody's car, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
89 Dodge Caravan.
It's going down like the old Wile E. Coyote cartoon,
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Hey, they took away Elmer Fudd's gun.
I saw that. Yeah. What's he got now? A sword or something?
They deleted those scenes out of whatever show it was in.
I don't know how you got to delete them.
No, they've got a new Elmer Fudd, new Looney Tunes coming out, and they changed it from having his gun to having a sword or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because you can't kill somebody with a knife, huh?
But I guess it's not a gun, so it's okay.
I don't know. We take things way too far.
I just don't know. Remember Yosemite Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Remember him? What was awesome about him? He would take his two guns,
rooting, tooting, shooting,
and he'd point them down, and he'd shoot him, and he'd lift himself off the ground.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do now if he can't do that with a gun? I don't know.
I just shake my head, man. That's all you can do anymore.
It's like Tom and Jerry, right? Saying Tom can't catch Jerry. That would be inhumane or something. I don't know.
I just don't see
the frying pans are going to be illegal next.
And they won't have
smack them with a frying pan all the time.
There won't be any pancakes in them.
Yeah,
next thing you know, you won't even buy an atom bomb, from Acme. The next thing you know, so
I just keep picturing him with those rockets,
the rockets, and the roller skates,
or the rocket skates, even.
Yeah,
Acme, everything's from Acme. That's a great company. I'd work there.
As the original Amazon.
Yeah,
yes,
quick delivery.
They had everything, right?
That's where Jeff Bezos got his ideas from.
Dude, they should change those cartoons to Acme Prime on the bottom.
Modernize it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Acme Prime, same day shipping.
He's sitting there on his little laptop or on his cell phone. Next thing you know, it shows up. Rocket. Good time.
Great. All right, looks like we're winding this one down.
Yes.
It's been a fantastic Father's Day show.
I was going to say Happy Father's Day, gentlemen.
Happy Father's Day.
So we have do we want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Promote the digital short we're thinking about filming this week?
Oh my gosh, yes, we do.
Okay.
You can mention it, but we can't go into too many details yet. But
I'm not going to give my secret away. I'll tell you that.
It involves dare we say it involves sizzle?
Maybe fire.
And don't say sizzle. We don't want them to know that yet.
Don't say sizzle. Bleep that out.
Yep. Beep.
Fire.
We might need to have a full-fledged member of the fire department on standby for this.
Those guys are hourly wage employees. I don't know about how we're going to get it.
That's not in the budget, man.
It's definitely not in the budget. All right, so we are shooting Thursday for our next special.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna
look for it in a couple weeks or so.
So we're looking to drop that on July 4th, right?
Yes, I think that's the goal. The goal is to get that out by the 4th. So that may give you a hint with the sizzle and the fire.
And we're looking to have. Can I tell them who our special guest on the main event would be?
No, don't tell them yet. That's going to start giving it.
I don't have to say the person's name, but like their previous occupation, I think, is worthy.
No, that's going to give it away too. Well,
I don't think they've committed yet. I think that's the.
Oh yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah, they haven't actually committed yet. So.
All right. So we've got some logistics to work out, but
we don't know where we're going, but we'll get.
Hey, but we got 4 or 5 days to do it.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. Yep.
Absolutely. Should be fantastic. So we've got that one in the books. We've got the next, the one after that in the books. And I didn't tell you guys this, but I created a Patreon for us.
What is a Patreon?
A Patreon is a website, or Patreon is a brand of website that allows creators to have a source of funding. So patrons, people that enjoy our content, can go to Patreon and support us financially with a reward in mind. So if right now the way I have it set up is if they commit to spending $5 a month with us, they will get early access to any of our digital shorts. So
good idea. Yeah.
Either of these two that we're about to produce and film and record and edit, they would get a full day release before it goes to live on YouTube.
Nice.
But I bring that up because I put a poll on there about what our next short should be after this one. And I put the one that we talked about in there, mixed in with a couple others that we kicked around and maybe might not be doable, but be kind of fun. So we'll see if people actually go over to there. The page is still under review by the powers that be at Patreon to make sure it's a legitimate page, and that is something that
listen, we got t-shirts that makes it legitimate right there.
I mean, I'm telling you,
why not?
Yep, we're deserving. So please support us through Patreon.
Please, we need money.
Now my youngest is like, Daddy, can I get one of those shirts? Like, no.
That's what we need. Let's get them out there.
These shirts got to be earned.
That's right.
They don't just give them to anyone.
Right. Well, maybe ask Patrick.
They literally do.
We literally do.
All right. Listen, happy Father's Day, guys, man. Enjoy it with your kids.
Thanks for watching. If you watch this on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and visit us on the other platform. If you watch us on Facebook, we'll be on YouTube. If you watch this on YouTube, visit us on Facebook. We've got different content on both. Same content, but different.
It's the same show.
It is, but the videos aren't on Facebook, but then the posts we're making about YouTube aren't on YouTube. So
there's a little something for everybody at each place.
Exactly.
But hit the like button and subscribe and ring the bell.
Gotta subscribe. Check us out on Patreon. Vote on the poll. Let us know what you want our next digital short to be. We will be doing this show, this live stream, podcast style, every Sunday at 7 Eastern, live on both Facebook and YouTube. This is the only exception, pre-recorded.
Yep. So far.
So
all right, guys.
Happy Father's Day, gentlemen.
Happy Father's Day.
Good night.
Father's Day to all you folks, and ring the bell.